Hello, my name is Dominic Underhallhouse and welcome to another episode of Moonbreaker. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at, again, trying to refine an Astra list. So we tried one a few days ago. It wasn't quite up to the sort of standard that I wanted it to be. So I've come up with a new Astra list to try out from here, and it's sort of a variation on the Zax list that we've done with a few tweaks, a few changes, mostly to sort of focus around Astra's kit. And I'm quite happy with how it's turned out so far. I've given it a few games, I've quite enjoyed it. So hopefully we'll see if we can put in a good performance today. So, it is an Astra Rapidfire focus list, so similar to our Taria focus list before, called Taria's Arsenal. We are running Taria again with a couple of synergies, but we're actually more focused here on just playing the long game. So, you may notice we're missing any 1-drops, no Maximus in this list. We're going to be trying to skip that and go straight from turn 1 to 4 Cinder by using the Grow Cinder ability. And then on that turn, we're probably going to be playing Deadeye. Deadeye and Taria, if we're trying to go for the ranged, sort of shoot them down the enemy units approach, or we're going to go for Shrapnel. Some situations where we might want to go for, say, Rickety Backfire and Taria to just go for like a really early burst if someone's coming near to us. Then we've got Crosshair for another bit of synergy there as well, especially with Taria as well. 6 damage is really, really rare to come across in the game, so well worth it. Between these two, it's almost like build your own switchback, really. And then we've got Florio Lancer, so obviously not a rapid fire unit or anything like that, but a really good endgame unit for dealing a bit of damage. We've got Chuck and Co, mostly to be sort of an extra brick wall, your defensive unit, throw things away from us, keep that range between our units and theirs. And we've got Nectarvine as just the one-of healing unit to help us just sort of tick through in the endgame, get that little bit of extra health through, because the few games I've played, we have ended up behind in health quite a few times, but Nectarvine's been able to take us out of that situation. So I'm going to jump into a few games and see what we find. If you've enjoyed these videos, please make sure you do hit that subscribe button. It's really, really helpful to the channel. We're trying to work our way up to 250 subs at the moment, but most importantly, just hopefully you're enjoying this. Drop a comment, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you in game. Okay, so we have found a game. We're going to jump straight in and see what we can get from here. Hopefully we're going to have a good opponent so we can have a little bit of a challenge, but we'll see what we come across and see if the rapid fire list can hold its own. Okay, Rickety Backfire. It's an unpainted Extilior, so that could mean many different things. It could just mean someone's using a beginner list. It could mean that we're against someone who just isn't into that side of the game. So here I quite like Plink. I don't like Stowaway. Lifeline and Cinder Infusion seems pretty good here, and so does Orbital and Nano Shield. I actually think I'm going to pick Orbital and Nano Shield because being able to zone opponents away from us is quite useful in this list. So Orbital's going to be more useful than you might think, and if they rush us down, a free turn of health would be great. Okay, so we are against a low-level opponent, and they've got the first turn, so we'll see what happens from here. If they're going to run which direction. Okay, so they're going to run straight out this way. I imagine they're going to play a Maximus because there's a good chance that they're playing the intro list here. And what we're going to do is we're going to just jump forwards, try and shoot Maximus, place a Cinder Orb defensively, and see what we can do from there. So the thing to bear in mind with Cinder Orbs is that with a Maximus, especially things like Stim Burst, if they can move really far, shoot you, move again, they can get really close to Cinder Orbs no matter pretty much where you put them. So you have to be quite cautious with your positioning there. So with this positioning, it's a little bit better because we can actually just hop over here, get a nice angle. I do say hop is the exact thing that we are doing, and we can just grow Cinder back over this side. In fact, if we do it here, we should actually be able to hop over here and still get line of sight onto their Maximus if we need to. And next turn we could potentially have 6 Cinder. So this list's got quite a few things you can do with 6 Cinder. We've got the triple 2-drop play, we can go into the breach on a 4-drop, a 4-drop and a 2-drop. I like having those options. It's one of the reasons I build the lists like I do. And I think with being able to try and run out Cinder Orbs as safely as possible is pretty much the right way of doing things, in my opinion. So if they go to hide behind here, it may be that we actually want to just into the breach something maybe in this direction, like a Deadeye, and push up here and get the shot. I mean, there's loads of different things we could do here, depending on how far over they go. And what have we got here? Blink. Okay, Blink's good. We know they're out of line of sight. Are they going to remember to move their captain? I hope they do, because they've got that and a deployment left. And the deployment range here is terrifying, because they're nearly able to deploy onto our Cinder Sphere. I think they're just short, if I remember rightly. But they're very close to being able to. Maybe we should have actually been slightly further back if that's the case. It could have been that we've just misplayed here.
Do not distract me.
So this also, by the way, looks like a very good situation for a hasted Shrapnel, because it takes a lot for these to get through Shrapnel, and Shrapnel can start dealing good chunks of damage to this in return as well. Okay, there's Stitchy coming through. So does Astra have line of sight? We do. Only to here, so we might as well just take this. And what we want to do really is find ways of not getting stuck into a corner. So is the hasty attack with anything here worthwhile? Because we could just send Rickety in and try and go for that. But we've got more Cinder here.
How about
Do you know what, it might even be just a Rickety and Deadeye turn, but Stitchy I think is going to be an issue, so I think what we want to do here is actually just deploy 2 units. Oh, I've misplayed. That was a terrible decision. I should have played one first, then played the other. That's not how this works at all. Okay, so now I actually think I'm almost forced into playing Rickety, because I'm going to struggle otherwise. So we're going to pop Rickety back over here. Probably need to place Taria down as well. Taria down this side. And realistically, maybe even just place a Cinder Orb just behind them. Oh, that was a misclick, but it's luckily in the right spot. So yeah, I really shouldn't have picked up both those at once. I should have played something, then played another. I think what I was leaning towards was playing Shrapnel and then playing probably the Rickety or Deadeye. Okay, this is... as long as they're still going for us, that's not too bad. Rickety can potentially get in and do some damage, especially if they move forwards. And if we can get this 2 extra Cinder, even with something like Taria, being able to play a 5-drop would be really useful here, or even just like hasting Deadeye or something like that. Blink I think is going to be one of the issues here. So they should be just short here. Okay, I'm not sure about Lifeline to heal 1, I will admit that. But yeah, no, I think that misplay might actually cost us the game if our opponent can just run at us quite quickly. And this is also a situation where not having access to things like Toxoid is a really big deal, because we'd love to be able to just take out this immediately with Stitchy. So I don't know if they're going to play something, or they could probably actually deploy onto our Cinder Orb, which, again, I feel like I'm half asleep here. If they, yeah, this is the right place to deploy something if it's something you don't care that much about. Yeah, Antios is going to be something that they absolutely just want to throw out there. They've now got 2 free Cinder. I think I have messed up enough that I'm about to lose to a level 0 account. And for that, I apologise. It's probably not what we came here to see, but who knows? Maybe it is. Maybe you enjoy seeing me fall apart.
Don't worry, the tree gave us these.
So the thing here is, what I think we want to do is just sort of move back and try and find ways to get shots onto things so we can deal with Antios without having to put Rickety at too much risk. So let's get this shot off. We should still be ranges. We do want to explode here. We didn't. That's really awkward. So we're gonna... I think we actually need to seize Initiative Astra here. So we get that, move over here,
Good ammo.
seize Initiative twice, move back over here again, and I think what we do is actually just place Orbital around here.
My favorite.
They do still have Maximus, they're still fairly vulnerable, but this just means it's going to be harder for them to walk up. Wow, that's actually really hard to see as someone who's colourblind. It's a really awkward angle. Yeah, so they can get out of it, that's fine. Also, the fact that Rickety's survived and we've got Nano Shield could be really good here. If they move into Rickety range, we can just go all out with an exploding Rickety twice. And that, if they move forward with this in the slightest, preferably in this direction, we can absolutely pick them apart with a double exploding Rickety twice over and just ignore everything else and go for damage. So it's a nice option to have. We've got enough Cinder next turn to haste out a Crosshair if we need to. Or in fact, we'd probably just play out Crosshair. Like, we're not in a bad spot. We need to hope... if they place in range of Rickety, it's a mistake. Yeah, here they can just get a spin out. If they go for this and spin, then I think we're in a good spot. Yeah, because now we can just send Rickety in, try and get massive amounts of damage onto Extilio from Rickety, and just try and win the game from that point. probably just play out something like Crosshair as well. Because Stitchy's also quite far away, so it's going to be hard for them to actually deal with this, basically, or heal up quick enough. Okay, so there's T-Boo, there's the Plink, yeah. Okay, so they managed to avoid the orbital, which is good for them. We're going to seize initiative onto Rickety, put the nano shield onto him, and we're just going to go all out now. We just have to try and kill their Extilior as quick as possible. God, we want to explode here. Perfect, and hit again. And explode again. Perfect. So we can get a hit here, we can move across. Astra in, get another hit. Gain our 2 Cinder. And honestly, at this point, I actually think we place Shrapnel down here, because it means that it's really hard for them to chew through this.
What's that, Barry?
And now, again, next turn, we've got our combos. They can't squeeze through with Extilior. We're in a really good spot to actually finish this off next turn. So I don't think Extilior can even run away fully. Might be able to get a bit further away from Rickety, but either way, they're going to have to heal here. And if they heal, we've got another big turn coming next turn. I think we might have this just by virtue of Rickety invulnerable. Yep, lots of damage here. Again, Extilior's going to need to spend their movement getting towards Rickety, getting towards Stitchy rather, and then we'll have to see what we can do from there. Yeah, if they move here, we've got at least 6 damage coming next turn, possibly more, so this could be a really good spot for us. Any explosion, I think, pretty much puts us at lethal, depending on what they play. If they deploy something here, we're in a pretty difficult spot because we can't necessarily get into range. But if they don't, we're in a good position here. Okay, so T-Poo can get there, that's fine, but this doesn't do anything. If they attack this, it just grows T-Poo. Yeah, that's fine. We may even be able to like deal with T-Poo via other means. So we're not out of this. We're not sort of guaranteed a win yet. We can still haste out Deadeye if we need a bit more damage. I'm not sure what they're trying to work out here. Okay, it's Titonia. So we're going to move over here. Siege initiative onto Rickety. Rickety can move over here. We may as well take a pot shot onto Extilior with this, because we're going all in on Extilior no matter what. Let's see what happens. Got one explosion. Got one more. There we go. So we should have this now. So if we move over here, we can just into the breach, pop down Deadeye, get Deadeye right into range, and take out Extilior. Close, but we made it. Okay, so that was some pretty bad misplays from me there, but we did manage to pull it together towards the end. Again, our opponent actually played quite well there. I would say their name, but I can't figure out all those little digits there. So what we're going to do instead is jump into another game and see if we can get another opponent from here. Oh, excellent. Straight into a second game. So we might be able to get this one set out pretty quickly. And see what we find. This is definitely a list that I'm quite enjoying. I think genuinely there, like making those mistakes was a bit of an issue, especially with those Cinder replacements. Okay, we've got a Zax opponent this time. So here we have got Nano Shield and Stasis can be fun. I think Disruptor is good, but Orbital's less good versus a Zax. Recall and Plink is just useful for grinding. Let's try Recall and Plink. I've not tried this in a while. So it's a level 14 account. And they've just deployed Maximus and blocked their movement slightly. So the interesting thing is, if we can get a line of sight on Maximus, it's actually worth shooting. However, I'm not convinced we can get a good one. So let's just throw Cinder and pass the turn. So they might be able to get a line of sight onto us this way. Maybe not. Maybe I should have been a little bit further this way, but I'm more worried about the Cinder than my life total. And let's see what they can do from here. Okay, so this is something big, so this might be a Beatrice. Yeah, it's a Beatrice. So this is the thing with Beatrice, is that this doesn't actually do anything from here. So what we can do now is we can just play out something like a Shrapnel. Which I think, where does Beatrice move to there? So we just want Shrapnel to be just out of range of Beatrice. And we'll go for a little additional Cinder. We'll pop a Deadeye down as well. Nothing else to do here. We're just getting some really good development out. We don't need to worry about our curve. I mean, sure. All they really do here is get one Beatrice hit and maybe a Zax hit. Oh, they got the crit though. So that's not too bad for them. Funnily enough, we've got medical recall, so we can just throw this into their front lines, do a bunch of damage, and potentially just run away afterwards. Yeah. So depending on what they play here, we may not even have to recall Shrapnel this turn. It may be that we can just move up here, take some shots, plink a little, and then recall the following turn. And that would be great if that was the case.
Eager to please.
So can we get an angle onto both? I think we can actually maybe even just move out of Beatrice's movement range. So I think that's probably the play. So we can never hit both, so we might as well just go for Maximus here, because if we get a crit it changes a lot. Deadeye can just pop back here, take a shot. I think here we're placing down Taria Arsenal, throwing another Cinder Orb. And then, honestly, I don't know if there's really many places to move. I think this is about where we want to be. So I think we're going to stick here. We're going to let them run at us with... run towards our Shrapnel, basically, if they want to. And we can just recall that out. I think next turn's actually going to be a good turn to go for either a Florio or a Crosshair, depending on if we live here. So that was perfect positioning by our opponent. But they've got a lot of Cinder, but not much to do with it yet. So if this is something that isn't a Florio, we're in great shape. Oh, so it's Bytos, so they can kill this. Excellent. Well played for opponent. I was not expecting the Bytol there, but given that they've got all that damage so far away from us, I think we're in really great shape to just play out Florio and just really not have to worry about things from there. Stasis field is fine.
Beep, beep.
So I mean, we could just take a pot shot here, 70%. Yeah, so let's just gain some Cinder.
Gotta try this.
We'll place a Florio down about here. Let's go back here actually, get us a bit more Cinderac. We can't use our Cinder Sphere ability. Can't plink anything, so we might as well just...
Being in a lab, huh?
In fact, let's just Ozos ourselves here and see if we can get a good angle onto something. Yeah, let's take this angle onto their Zax instead.
How about this?
Okay, I think that is everything that we want to do. I mean, technically we've got a shot here, but just in case we crit. I think we're all good in terms of location, though. Okay, and apologies for the Facebook notifications. It is me, not you. I forgot to close it before coming over to this, so bear with me. I'm just going to quickly cut away, and actually sort that out. Okay, so we need one of these to miss.
Pump it up!
Let's see what happens here. Okay, we did get the one miss, that's perfect. So now we can guarantee that Maximus is pretty much dead. We can churn our way through damage onto Bytol as well. So yeah, this is going to be our Bombard spot. So if we look at Florio, the Bombard range is just out at the moment, so if we move just forward, we should be absolutely fine to get both of these.
Let's make
There
friends.
goes Shrapnel. And Deadeye. Okay. So the important part here is where our range goes to. This has everything we could ever want. Can actually get, is it 4 units we can get? Is that getting max? There we go, that's a perfect bombard there.
My statue should blind
Okay,
one.
so the question is, what do we go with from here? We've got 14% angle there, but if we go here and Ozos ourselves, maybe we even have 100. We do. Which means we can then kill Deadeye.
Gotta try this.
We can medical recall our own Deadeye and start just moving our way back slightly. And we can deploy our own Deadeye back here.
Who wants snacks?
And again, just take a range shot where we can, just in case we get a crit. Okay, So we're in a good spot here. Florio had to move forward. So Disruptor here is quite interesting because they can get a shotgun attack and maybe even a Zax attack onto Florio. And this is our best route of actually dealing damage, so we might need to send things over here to try and rescue this. So I'm probably going to move this back and place a Chuck and Co in front.
Feeling it, huh?
Okay, that's their own Florio, so we can try and launch both of these basically. This is where we need to be hitting our Florio. We need to take out these. We need to find a way to keep this alive, but luckily, unless Zax gets a good shot off here, we should be in a good spot of keeping this alive. We could even just turn onto the captain, which is quite a likely option here as well. That was a big shot. Was not expecting that to hit. Where's Bytel going to go? So Bytel's trying to basically spread out from the Florio. Interesting enough, if we look at their bombard range, can we not see it here? Oh, it's here. So this is their bombard range. So there's actually not much of ours in range. So we could even actually just bombard and run. So I think here we're probably just turning onto the captain. Seeing if we can just take out their Zax fairly quickly. If we can get an AoE onto both of these, that'd be perfect. We can, so that's what we're going to do. Going to blink over here. Move back this way slightly so that Shrapnel has to move to get in line of sight. We should be out of range of Beatrice still. And now we're just going to start moving our damage up the board slightly. So, the question is, how do we want to do this? I think we're still going to go with the Deadeye approach. Deadeye should still be nearly 100 here, yeah. Let's get Taria in for a similar approach. And Astra doing the same. Now what we want to do with Astra is actually potentially slightly different, because we can't afford to have all of these hit by a really good Beatrice attack. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to see if I can deploy something to change that fact. In fact, you know what, maybe I even just take it and just send Rickety in. Because what I can do is send Rickety over here and just get Rickety to shoot for 3, leaving him dead to Florio, and hopefully, I was going to say, hopefully not exploding, but if we do explode, we hit onto Beatrice anyway. So, really close to having them dead. They're dead to a Florio attack. They need something that heals. They don't have enough damage to kill Florio as it stands. They can just about hit it, but they can't get enough damage onto it. I think we've probably got this game sorted. Yeah, that's fine. So they may be just hoping for a Shrapnel crit here. They did get it. Okay, Shrapnel crit was good for them. Beatrice can kill this, so we've then got more follow-ups to worry about, but with 7 Cinder, depending on where their Zax moves, we can potentially just Crosshair our way in. This is actually about as bad as it could have gone. We didn't need to open ourselves up to that, but we did anyway, so that was our own fault. So I actually think that we need to just start running towards them slightly. We want Zax to basically stay aggressive, but there's no way they will do from this point. Yeah, so can we get anywhere that we can get a line of sight? I think maybe we can. So we're just going to have to go for that. We're going to into the breach, play Crosshair out, probably this angle, and Crosshair should be able to get a decent line of sight onto their Zax. No, I thought it had a line of sight there, we were blocked. Oh, that's terrible news. So now we need to actually get crits here. We did get the crit, so that's not as bad as it could be. Deadeye can just keep running away, I guess. Maybe take a shot over onto Shrapnel. I honestly thought we had that. That's a big mistake on my part. Either way, this hasn't gone to plan, but I still don't think we're dead. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage here. So unless they can get a Beatrice attack through, they can as well. Yep, they can kill our Crosshair. I think we might be losing this. Again, we have got haste next turn with Chuck, and Chuck again is also lethal. So we've got multiple ways of trying to get lethal here. Getting the crit as well. Is this a stun? Yeah. So if we can get Zax into melee range with Chuck and Co, we've got this. They've got no mine. I think they're probably assuming they're safe here. Yeah, okay, so we've got this.
My
It was
dad
close.
does not approve.
We weren't necessarily going to have this.
We need your expertise.
There we go, and we'll just toss it over there for lethal. Oh my goodness, what a close game. So I'm going to cut away from it. I'll be back in a little bit with a third game. That was a hard fought one. Again, we put ourselves at risk that we didn't need to, but it turned out alright at the end. I'm still enjoying this list. Chuck, I'm not sure is the right place for it, but it's working out alright, and I'll see you in the third game. Okay, we are jumping into our third and final game with this list. In case you can't tell, different t-shirt, different looking person. This is actually a different day to when I recorded the first couple of games, as I just had to stop and do some real life things.
Anyone hungry?
Oh dear. We're against a very familiar opponent. So I've actually played against, this is what, Bad Funyaripa. I think the Vortex and Lifeline seems good here. I like Cinder Infusion, Nano Shield, but Vortex Lifeline seems good. I've actually played against them with this list when I was testing it out as well. So this should be interesting, because I know that they're able to play this. I was asking about the skin as well with the work in progress signs, and they said they've got another version of this that gets gradual updates whenever they get around to it. So the work in progress stays the same, but there will be an actual hidden one that's gradually getting updated. So against someone that we recognise, and this should be a good game because it's oh wow. So last time we played, they were actually 4 levels lower, and we were 1 level lower. So they've taken over a little bit since we last seen.
Dad taught me to share.
Okay, so we're just in a play safe situation here. Pop our Cinder Orb over here. Not worry too much. So I think if I remember rightly, their list is a bit more aggressive than mine. So it's probably going to be a Maximus turn 1, which leads me to think we should go for something like... So there is Shrapnel, but there's also... Oh, I didn't think they could get an angle there. We could also go for something like Taria Deadeye, which isn't too bad here. Which leaves us the option of maybe Rickety the following turn. Okay, so this is different. Last time we played, they were playing Maximus first almost every single game, so this is going to be a bit different. I actually think it might even be worth just throwing Shrapnel in the front line like we usually do. But I think Deadeye and Taria is a little bit safer. We've got, basically, for the same amount of Cinder, Shrapnel has got 7 but with armour, and then we've got these two that between them have got...
Anyone want ammo?
is it what, 11? So these are slightly weaker, but they've got more damage they can output to 1 unit. And this way we can just keep developing things. Next turn, we probably just play a Cinder Orb out, to be honest. Okay, them growing Cinder here is somewhat worrying. It might even be that we need to just boost the accuracy on Deadeye and shoot this again. Because if they're going to get... I feel like we need to be fairly aggressive, because otherwise we're just going to get hit with a Florio or something. Okay, so there's Maximus. So I think we can deal with Maximus, because we're going to be able to pull him out with Vortex a little. So I think what our plan is going to be is maybe even just a rapid fire here, hit Maximus, and then even just deploy a Cinder Orb back here somewhere, and maybe take a Taria pot shot at this to try and clear it out. I don't think we're going to be able to, but because they have got 4 Cinder, they can place multiple things here. Depending on how much they play, we could even potentially just try and kill something other than Maximus. But actually, I've not seen this Maximus yet. I like that. That's pretty sweet. It looks like they've used the glowing paint with like a wash over it or a dry brush to make it look a little... Or maybe even a wash of the glowing paint. That's pretty sweet. I like that. Okay, what have we got here? Deadeye. So Deadeye isn't surprising. We can bring Maximus out into line of sight if we need to.
Stay on your toes.
Can we get line of sight even badly onto that orb? We cannot. We've got a minus 111 accuracy over there. So I think the plan is going to just be to seize initiative here. Pop out.
We'll get snacks soon.
Bring Maximus out to party. And just take the shot. We should have this. There we go. Maybe, yeah, so this could potentially get a line of sight down here. Might as well, 0%. So we did expose ourselves for nothing there, but we can just keep growing Cinder and moving Taria down to try and keep things in range. Is that the same range? Yeah, it is. So we're slightly ahead in the scheme of things. Basically, because we've got like we've got similar things out on the battlefield, but we've got Taria, they've got nothing, but they've got more Cinder than us. See, here we go. So this is the aggressive list that I thought it was. I've just realised that no wonder I'm going to look slightly different. There we go. I didn't have my light on, so now you can see me properly. Okay, so they're coming in for trying to get a bit of damage. They've got 6 Cinder, so okay, they can potentially get 4 damage off here. Yeah, and then we've got Deadeye coming in, I assume. So this is going to be good for Lifeline, actually. Oh, okay, they could be hasting in... and they could attack this and haste in a Tipu, maybe? So that's one thing that this list doesn't do that well, is we haven't got that many good haste targets. We're more using the Cinder ability. So this could be a Tipu. Oh, Axel Pyro. Yeah, Axel Pyro does great here. Especially if they can get into range of both. It looks like they might be just missing line of sight here, but maybe they get Taria. Yeah, just missing the line of sight. And the fact we can heal this and it goes to 1, unless they shoot it with Deadeye as well. There we go. So that meant that you had to use Deadeye there rather than somewhere else, which is at least slightly better for us. So here I'm going to just start going for some other decisions. So here is going to be an Into the Breach Shrapnel turn. The reason for it is that we need to start dealing with this board state, but also I don't think they can necessarily deal with Shrapnel straight away. Can we get a good line onto all 3? So the question is, do we think we're going to be able to actually hit those? Because we're not going to be in range if we do. So this is about what we want. We're probably not going to hit Astra, but we're not in the Astra game right now. This is what we want to do. Because here we don't actually quite hit Deadeye, so here we do get all of them. This is why it's interesting looking at, you know, the same targets but different models. You can actually get different hit percentages. So, oh, that crit's nice. That means Taria can actually come in and probably just finish this up. Perfect. That's great for us. Axel Pyro is starting to be a threat. So now, if you look here, they've got 6 crew in total. We've got 7, so we're 1 up. And one of theirs is a melee-only unit. So they can, again, haste a Tipu out here, which can kill a Taria, which I think is probably something I'd consider if I was in their position.
Come on, fellas.
But we've got Rickety to follow up, which is probably what we were going to consider doing next turn. This I wouldn't have an issue with them doing hasting Tipu out into this. This seems reasonable to me because you get to kill something, you get Tipu out. It's going to be big.
Gotta try this.
Is this what's going to be? I don't know if they play Tipu, to be completely honest. They could play, like, this could be a Rickety. If they play Rickety and attack Shrapnel, that could also work. It's interesting. There's lots of different things that can kill Taria from here. So we're going to have to see what comes through. I think we're probably hasting Rickety next turn. This looks like a Tipu to me. But that's not the right placement. I know our opponent knows better than that. Like, this is an experience phase. Yes, this looks like a Rickety. Yeah, there we go. So this is probably going to be relying on the Rickety explosion and just attacking Shrapnel. Okay, they didn't go for the risky play. Did go for the explosion, that's fine. Okay, this puts us a little bit safer. Lifeline's fine. We don't care about Lifeline right here. Because we can still bring out our Rickety and potentially get a lot of damage off here as well. So, we're going to bring Shrapnel back here. Go for this exact same shot. Okay, so we did miss onto Astra there, but what we're going to do is we're going to basically do the same thing, but a slightly riskier version. Because we're still going to enter the breach, we're still going to play out Rickety, but we're not going to shoot their Rickety, we're going to rely on the 70% chance to kill theirs. Or we could go for here, but I think this is just the safest. Well, not safest, but like the option that we want. Big hit, big reward, so 70% chance to get what we want. We didn't get it, but that's fine. These are the sort of situations where it is absolutely just what it is. We should have... Yeah, going for this was probably the safer play, but I want to be able to turn the game around quicker and take the bigger risk to put us even further ahead. So now I'd say we're about at parity. This should probably be just fairly equal. We could lose Taria here to... not Taria, Shrapnel here to this plus this. So there is a world... I think they probably still have to shoot Rickety. Okay, so they're going to kill Shrapnel if they can. So that means Deadeye's got the kill onto our Shrapnel, but I'm not sure without hasting something else out if they're going to have the kill onto our Rickety. If they do kill Rickety, we've got healing on Shrapnel. Again, I don't think we're in the best spot here. I think maybe that was too big of a risk last turn. I think I should have been playing it safe. And then we could have used still lifeline.
Expertise.
Okay, so this is actually meaning they can probably kill both of these. And that puts us in a really rough spot from here. Okay, if they're going for our captain. Just pushing 8 damage through, yeah. Like, this is interesting because this actually gives us options.
We'll get snacks soon.
Yeah, this is the right choice to go for. But now we've still got Shrapnel alive.
Did I trigger something?
So we might be able to do some things with that. I don't know if we can get Shrapnel into... Okay, so... I think we have to pull this back no matter what we do. Because we need to start trying to deal with Blindsider Esley here.
Dad taught me to share.
So we're going to move over here.
Crossing them out.
See if we can get a good line of sight onto all of
Gotcha.
these. Yeah, so this means we get an extra hit off, which we didn't necessarily know we were going to get. That miss is really quite brutal here. So, what do we do from here? This actually puts us in a really rough spot. So I think what I'm going to do
Get in the game.
is I'm going to Into the Breach Chuck and Co.
Are you with us?
I'm going to bring it over here. In fact, I can actually just toss it and then just try and push damage onto their captain and heal. But this still means that we're taking 8 next turn most likely. They can haste something else out. Do I just have to try and block Esley in? I think maybe I do.
Let's review my diagrams.
Come on. I'm having
I actually think this trade's worth it in terms of a hit.
You can fight back, you
Not
know.
with a crit, but take that shot. I don't even know where to heal here. This is very awkward. I think we actually wait for the heal on our captain. Yeah, I don't feel good about this. I think we've managed to lose our last game, but like I said, it's been a day since we last played. Feeling a little rusty, but I feel like we've played relatively well. We had, I think that Rickety turn was probably the big turning point there. So that was the where I should have played differently.
Feels like people are out to get me.
So anything that they've got is a good follow-up here. I mean, this is a really good like aggro Astra list, and it's a good player playing as well. So
Let's get you loose.
okay, with Quetzali, I wouldn't even be surprised if they can just make it all the way around here,
Gotta try this.
get the extra attack. They just need to get Deadeye to get 1 attack through. So if they can move that around here, I'd probably move Deadeye around here and just go for that 1 attack. Yep. Just get Deadeye as close as possible and take us out. Perfect.
Next time,
That was a really good game.
real weapons.
So Bad Funyarinpa, I think the name is on Discord. Funya, I just know it's Bad Funya. It's all I ever see. Really good game. Happy to have lost that. So they had a more aggressive list. We didn't have quite as many defensive playings as we should have done. Maybe we should have, like I said, been a little bit more cautious with our plays and tried to take out the enemy units rather than trying to turn on the captain. I think if we tried to do that 1 turn later, it probably would have worked out better for us. So all in all, I actually think this list has got a bit of potential. I think I still need to work on how I play it. That's one of the big things here. I'm probably going to do some more videos of this list as well, because I actually really think it has got a bit of potential. I need to figure out how to work it out. Chuck and Co. I'm still not entirely sure about, but I'm not sure what I'd change it for quite yet. We could go for something like Defense Dome, but then you're just so much Cinder for not really doing anything. It could even be Stitchy after the success of the Stitchy, McPatchy and Extilior lists that I've been looking at. So, not quite sure. A few ways for this to go. We need something else anti-aggro, and Chuck doesn't really feel quite right. It could even just be a case of putting in Beatrice and just using her as a brick wall, like we usually do. So, all in all, great fun. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Hit that subscribe button if you have. Like the video if you like the video. And let me know what you think about this list. What changes would you make? Because if you think I should put in Stitchy, if you think I should put in Defense Dome, please let me know. Because I want to try out a new version of this, and you guys probably know just about as much of the game as I do, if not maybe even more. So I'd love to hear from you, and most importantly, have a good day.